ओके
अभी शुरू नहीं किया ना?
लाइव 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 हो गया लाइव कर दिया बताया Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Just we are going to discuss today India-US relation, PM Modi US visit, and the Quiet meeting. Very hectic.
Hello?
The call is from your
This is
eye doctor. Our
so-
records show that you are due.
it's very hectic visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi, and very fruitful and successful visit, we can say. And last 3-day development, just a 2-day development, yesterday and today. Today's 24th, and that is a day of 24th in the United States of America. And yesterday, PM Modi met Vice President of US Kamala Harris. Very fruitful meeting, and he invited Kamala Harris to India, her own country, birth country. So this is also the proud of India and all Bharatiya. Just Kamala Harris is just Vice President of America, and number one. Number two, and today just to finish the meeting of with President Biden, a very fruitful meeting and very important notes exchanged, and whatever. Okay, so this is already called what I am saying you. She was here. Kamala Harris is, and birth country or not, it is a matter of discussion also. I'm not going in that. So her family was here and family is sent for the study. So there are many stories. So thanks, Vandana ji, to correct me. But now we are going to discuss the Kamala Harris and Vice President of the US now. We're going to be the already the facts and the Biden and also the quiet meeting, the four countries collaboration and how for the development besides China. So how the meeting was going and how tomorrow Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address United Nations General Assembly 76th meetings, and many issues will be discussed. So now we start. We have the Vandana ji from USA, from Chicago, and just she has been already covering so many events where they are from USA and also discussing so many points. And we have Rakesh Tiwari ji, senior journalist from the Toronto, Canada, also keeping an eye on each and every development of this Prime Minister Narendra Modi US visit. So Vandana ji, over to Vandana ji. Vandana ji, how does you see the Prime Minister Narendra Modi visit to the USA in the first visit after Biden came in power, Biden and Kamala Harris?
Namaskar and good evening to everybody. Good morning, wherever you are. As we know, it's been less than 48 hours when he landed. So diaspora, some few people, because due to the pandemic, they were there at the Andrews base to welcome him, greet him, basically. And then his journey started. He was in the hotel, and yesterday morning, he was with 5 CEOs of various different companies and talking about India, like, what they can offer him. And then comes meeting, because the Quad meeting, it's your question, which is very, very important. This is Quad 2.0, which is the revival of the Quad. So Quad has the countries like Australia, Japan, Bharat, and
I think first time after the revival of Quad, the first meeting, the one-to-one meeting, that was the first meeting, was the virtual meeting.
yeah, two virtual meetings. They already had two virtual meetings.
Yeah.
So this was like 4 nations. So Quad is, when we talk to the viewers, I just want to share that when we talk about the Quad, in the general people's mind here, the people of US, they are not even aware of what the Quad is, to be honest. So earlier, Australia stepped back a little bit, maybe the threat of China or whatever. But now it is, India has to lead this Quad thing, because when we talk China, there is a triangle: China, Pakistan and Taliban. These triangle is the neighbor to India too. So that is not very good and healthy sign for India. India has to play very strong role. And Prime Minister is there. We're just seeing the visuals right in front of everybody. I think somebody asked me, this meeting is going to be like important for Indo-US. So I said, no, change your perspective. This is not going to be important for India and US. This is going to be important for means quite significant countries of the world, to be honest. Means most positive, few negative, to be honest, because it's a perspective, right? We know China ke pet mein to dukh raha hai, because earlier he was thinking it is just a bubble, it will get burst, the Quad, but the Quad has been taken out very seriously by these nations. So after this meeting of the two nation heads, like Prime Minister Modi ji as well as President Biden, so then they will be meeting in person, 4 nation heads for the Quad. So the Quad's outcome, I really want it to go for, means like in real, not only stays in paper, to be honest, to curb, like, because this is called the monopoly and the dictatorship of China. To curb China, it is because very important. Somebody is strong, somebody is weak. It doesn't, because in today's time, seeing your own interest, as they always say, this is a time that every nation has to take care of the self-interest. But India comes with a thing like Vasudev Kutumbakam. We saw that during pandemic time. Let this be first phase. Now the second phase, India needed help. US and the people of diaspora, to whom Modi ji personally thanked yesterday when he landed, the diaspora did help, and the government of US. We are still not very happy how the US administration, the percentage it has been helped, but we want some more. But now I think they want to have some more responsibility for India for the COVID. So this was the major points about the discussion, that COVID, how to handle COVID, because it's still not over, that the Afghanistan issue, and then the security issues, the terrorism, like basically how to tackle that. So these are the 3 points that mainly has been, and we are still seeing there, he's still inside the White House. It's not yet been over. So they must be discussing, and let's see, because they have already addressed the press. We saw that. And we are very hopeful. Means these meetings should only not stay in paper. There should be an outcome of it. Thank you.
And how just analyze yesterday meeting with PM Modi and Kamala Harris, the Vice President of US?
As we all know, when it comes the time of election during campaign, she is the same Kamala Harris. Her statements are on record, what she talked about Prime Minister Modi. But moving forward, they always say, because Shama Badan ko chahiye, chotan ko utpat. So I think Modi ji has not, and he invited her. So she has her roots from Bharat, Tamil Nadu. We know that her mother is from Tamil Nadu, and she's been born here, and she lived in Canada for some time. So
family was in India.
Means relatives, relatives. So that is what, and I think when she took oath, so a lot of people celebrated in India, but she claims herself to be an African American, and she when she addresses, so she never says either I'm like a South Asian descent, or she always says I'm African American. But she has come out for a lot of struggles in her own life. And as a woman, means India has been way too ahead, because India had the woman prime minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, many years ago. And US is still having vice president, because even long democracy. So, so she thanked the Prime Minister of India, the way they have helped United States for the first phase and for the COVID. That is on record. So the meeting was very cordial. We saw that. And when we talk about the body language and all, because nowadays it is very difficult, because Indian journalists are very good in analyzing the body languages, means which doesn't happen in here. So because of the mask thing, so you cannot figure out what was the body language. So, but
Okay, yeah.
later the
So you can't
pictures.
see the face actually, just
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
the
So,
emotions are
yeah,
going on the
yeah.
face.
So, but people have been very aggressive. They say, "Oh my God, look at that! You know, their dress color matches." So I don't see these kind of things. Means like, but there are a lot of talks about that. And then his meeting, which has been with the Vivek Lal, that CEO of General Atomics,
Qual,
and
yeah,
yeah, they are for the drones. Then they met Shantanu from Adobe. We know that
yeah,
investment coming. And
yeah.
then Mark Widmer, he's the CEO for First
Mm,
Solar, because the solar parks are in there. Then Christina Amon, and CEO of Quadcom. So that is very, very important too. And the Stephen Schwarzman, that from Blackstone. And then he said that we have already invested 60 billion in India, and we will do in the coming years 40 billion more. So I think if this takes over, and then because I think these are the numbers maybe that China is getting upset about, because he wasn't thinking. So India has to also work on that, to be honest, get out of the bureaucratic hurdles if somebody wants to come to India for businesses. So ease of doing business in India should not only stay in paper, it should really means matter. And that corruption has to go off. It's still not been out, like
yeah.
people, those who claim.
So nice. So thank you. Rakesh ji, just as a vigilant journalist, always keeping an eye on USA, India, and Canada affairs, how do you analyze the visit till now? And tomorrow is the UNGA address, and now quiet meetings are going to be done. So how just to analyze the visit? This is the first visit after the Biden and Harris came in power.
Well, thanks, Kumar Rakesh ji and Vanna ji. This is a cordial meeting. So far, so good, and this meeting is happening in the backdrop of Afghanistan, in the backdrop of Afghanistan episode, I will say, in the backdrop of post-COVID scenario, because where the vaccination is available all across the world. This is I will say that is a milestone is a land changing. Is a landmile. You can say that. So why I'm saying it this, because as 9/11 has changed the world, so did the COVID has changed the world too. So in the post-COVID scenario where we are looking at it, most of the population is going to get sooner or later they are going to get vaccinated for everybody's sake. At this junction in time, US find a very dramatic shift which is happening in US foreign policy, which continued from, I will say, George W. Bush Jr. onwards and slowly progressed, and this it is fine in the final touch. We have President Joe Biden, who has good experience with the 10 years of Barack Obama. He was vice president, so he knows very well Narendra Modi, and Narendra Modi knows him too as well at that time. So the relationship between Prime Minister Modi is, the best part is this, that even he will meet enemy of him too, he will become a fond of him. So because he doesn't have any in that way, he will go to Nawaz Sharif, even Imran Khan will come, and he please let me say this, and if you go and see previous videos before Imran Khan was prime minister, how much he was praising Modi ji. Let me say this, there are so many videos are there of Imran Khan. I'm talking about, forget about that. So I'm not here to praise Prime Minister Modi, but as you talked about, so far so good. A dramatic shift is this, that two largest democratic nations are coming together, shaking hand with each other. And Bharati media sometimes exaggerate things, takes out of way. Means some of the media channels, I'm seeing it, hum ye dosti nahi todenge, stupidity, going to the sheer low down, not even analyzing properly. I'm not here to criticize any media particularly or anybody, but the whole angle is that, and In a way, they are disrespecting Bharat too. Bharat is a democracy. It has survived without US at that time Cold War era. Now US has changed, made the shift change here, because before Pakistan was the closest nation for them. So in a way, US has at that time a long period of time acted as Bharat's enemy's friend. Let me say this. But this dramatic shift where, which happened from George W. Bush Jr. coming to now, and now Joe Biden, the way he has welcomed it, the whole administration is welcoming him. As per question goes about Kamala Harris, what she said and what she did not say. For them to US, they know that they like Modi ji or they don't like Modi ji, but they know that he is the most popular leader of Bharat, and he's very intelligent. In his leadership, Bharat has came so many steps ahead, and it is in America's best interest. It is their loss if Bharat is not close, with them. It is their loss. So they know that, and there's this shift which is happening is a very significant. At this time, the whole world is watching, and we must salute Modi ji, the way he's carrying himself. I would like to say, especially, he is spoken in Bharat's national language, Hindi, everywhere. I don't find from Jawaharlal Nehru till now only one example, and only Vajpayee ji, and that only one time he spoken. I mean, what I know,
United Nations,
United Nations as a foreign minister. Other than that, this is the person. As I say,
always speak in Hindi.
Okay, he is speaking, so he is making as a Bharati, as a Hindustani, and those who call even themselves Indian too, making them proud. Okay, everybody he is making us proud. So salute to him. As per question goes now, I'm very sure there is lots before their final meet. A lot of things have been discussed. So far, so good. This century is Bharat's century. This century is Hindustan's century. Any country miss, you cannot ignore Bharat, especially under Modi ji's leadership and the way he's cultivating the future in that way. I'm very hopeful that these two giant leaders with well experience. Please don't, I can criticize Joe Biden for pulling out from Afghanistan, such as that way. But at the same time, where I'm realizing it, they say, he has made a, I can give, don't take it other ways, that he has thought for his country's interest at that time, and he's not, so later we all criticized him. Now his ratings are down too, but seems like he's a person of his own. Even he made mistake, he stands with that. The person has his logic.
Just after seeing the Twitter and when you're meeting, this 38 minutes before the Indian time, Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, just tweeted the pics with the President Biden. So just very nice. Just to keep just taking the.
See, Modi ji has a quality. Kumar Rakesh ji, he has a quality. He can make anybody fond of him.
I try to give the live picture.
Yes,
so
yes.
So tweet. He is a very just taking the mask from his pocket, and Modi ji is just talking another way, and a very very nice pics, and also just how he made. I'm reading the tweet of Prime Minister Modi.
Yeah.
Glad to have met Vice President Kamala Harris. Her feat was inspired the entire world. We talked about the multiple subjects that will further cement the India-US friendship, which is based on shared values and cultural linkages. So always focus on cultural linkages and how the cultural linkages are so strong. Vandana ji, they are talking about the cultural linkages. So that is different things. Kamala Harris born in the Oakland, California, and she claimed herself African American, as we can say Obama ancestors are also in the African countries, and that is different on platform. I'm not going on that, but some roots are in India. So
Of course.
that's roots are in India. So that was a very. I was also just watching on TV. Actually, I had to go to cover, but some due to the COVID and other reasons, I could not attend there. But since 2014, I never missed any event in US and other places with Modi ji, and so I feel thrilled. And so many stock for writing you can find, so many stories, so many news. As a newsman, we can say. So just how you analyze the Biden meeting, just you are closely watching and just analyzing. So and in between the quiet meeting is also important, and that is a four issue and quiet, and that is going to discuss. That is very important. The climate change and COVID-19 and Afghanistan cyber security. That are agenda on the quiet.
Yes. As you mentioned, I think Tiwariji also said, like, this is the century of India. First of all, I would like to add one thing, that India should not underestimate, and there has to be some role is the media of India should play, instead of dosti nahi todenge posti nahi todenge kind of thing, to let the people, the public of India, to have some nationalistic, like, take pride in who we are, like the Sanskriti of India. Means, like, we sitting miles away, so is he sitting miles away. When we talk about Bharat, so it gives us goose, like, if you're talking about, when I go out and meet my elected officials right here, and we tell them who we are, they all feel honored. Means, like, that we are sharing this, that we come from that kind of background. So but which is missing. And there is one thing on a lighter note I'm going to say. He said Modi ji is charismatic, उनके दुश्मन भी मिलते हैं तो वो दोस्त हो जाते हैं. अरे नहीं भाई, वहां तो ऑपोजिशन बैठी है, वो तो 7 साल में वो उनके साथ में नहीं हो पाए. So that is, I'm not going to agree. I said, on the lighter note, I'm saying Rahul Gandhi is still Rahul Gandhi. So is Sonia.
No need, no time to just spend on the Rahul Gandhi.
No, I'm just talking about that because no, I'm just bringing some point up. Like, there was one picture which was tweeted about Prime Minister Modi from the Bharat One, India One, the aircraft, like, so he's working while he's traveling. So had this been the president of United States of America, we would have all been, oh wow, like everybody. Like, let this be Democrats, let this be Republicans.
So many comments also in social media.
So,
why is he carrying on the bags inside the plane?
No, they are saying this is a showbiz, this is all this nonsense.
Whatever perception was there.
Yeah, so I means really, this has to be brought to the people's mind.
Yeah.
That
but brother, sorry, I'm trying to add something. Whatever this is, his workaholic nature. If you see like that, always work. 3 and 4 hours he normally sleeps in.
You missed what I'm saying. I said the opposition, the way they've been criticizing, it's a shame. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you are right. You are right. But
everybody,
what
like,
saying, what is a bag inside and locked inside? But whoever don't know the working and of governance, how government works. So many important files there. So they utilize the time in the flight.
Everybody does it. Some
Everybody
people, Rahul Gandhi watches movies, so he uses his time too. Okay, coming back to, let's talk about, talk about, like, what is this going to be having an impact?
Yeah.
When we talk about the diaspora of any country, if they are strong, they do play a very important role in this. It has been happening. And this is not about, like, Prime Minister Modi is the one who's meeting in his 7 years term, the third sitting president of United States of America. He met Biden now. He met Trump before. He met Obama before, like, when he came. So coming back to the policy, the foreign policies of United States doesn't change much. Like, it can be anybody sitting on the sorry. So, but the Quad is very, very important. Quad is so very crucial when Is it somebody's phone ringing? Yours. So Quad is very, very important because we will be discussing over there how there has to be a vaccine they need to find for a virus named China, because China itself is a virus. So they have to, because it is not for them, it is my way, for China way or no way kind of thing. That should not happen. So, but China never became China just over a period of time. It took them 50 years to where they are. And if India gets that kind of business, like if some transfers, like Trump banned like 100 of those companies, that they will be transferring those businesses to India. So India should be able to utilize that, should be able to deliver that, which is like, because otherwise it will not, because there'll be so many, because we have seen it, like Bangladesh right now, a small very nation, everybody knows that. But when we talk about the ready-made garments, the cotton garments, Bangladesh is way too ahead right now. Means a very small nation. So the opportunities, like it's only the meeting CEOs and all, we can get the contracts, but they should be deliverable also. That is what. Then the Quad about the climate change, absolutely, very, very important, crucial. And the most crucial at this point of time is discussion about the radical Islam and discussing the Taliban. So that should also be a priority. So,
Rakesh Tiwari.
Well, let me say a couple of things. I heard Vandaji very clearly, and most of the places she's absolutely right. But I will say definitely, although in USA, Bharatiya lobby, Hindustani lobby is a bit stronger than compared to a lot of places, even compared to Canada. But still, I think if you're thinking about it, I see that a lot of people, they do have a lack of information about Bharat's stance, where Bharat stands for it, what's its values, what's our democratic setup, and how we are dealing. And some of the things which Vandana ji has mentioned, I agree with that. Some of the wrong things which it does happen, be it corruption, be it crime, be it exaggerated things about Hindu and Muslim and all those things, which gives very bad name, which is not supposed to be. Some of the things has to be corrected in Bharat, and we have to come up as a mature democracy. A lot of things, especially as I said, corruption is a biggest, one of the biggest thing. So one can learn from USA, one can learn from Canada, where how the government services are, the employees, the people are working. When you come here, they will be courteous, they will be polite, nobody will be asking bride, nobody will dare to do that. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen at the high places, a lot of places, but it's not, people do not go through the common things. When to this subject, as per question, it goes here. My stance is very clear, as I mentioned, that this meeting, this UNGA, which is happening, is a turning point for the world. Pakistan's face has been totally white, like mask has come out. US and the Western forces, they were supporting blindly, criticizing Bharat, Hindustan for all the years. Now they know who is where. Final faces there. Okay, so this is a great opportunity. We will all look forward for Prime Minister Modi's speech, what he's going to address, what he's going to say. Definitely we can say this, that at this time when we talk about it in the Quad, means Bharat is a very, very strong player at the world stage too. Means all those world leaders, okay, be it Mr. Macron over there, or Mr. Biden is there, or we talk about German Chancellor, Angela Merkel is there, all Putin is there. Everybody knows Mr. Modi, okay, Prime Minister Modi, and he knows he's a very seasoned and politician. So coming back to, we are fortunate enough, and I will say I'm a bit happy and relieved that Bharat has the leadership of Modi ji under this crucial circumstances and timing. New I will say alliances are going to happen. Bharat is going to form to. Bharat is not a follower. Bharat is a leader. Okay, it was leader. It's coming to its strength now. So far, so good. We have done it. I will say at this junction in time in Bharat, opposition leaders, they should be standing together, just like they've shown the solidarity with the UK Prime Minister's or UK's stance on COVID situation. They should be standing with the Prime Minister and the country at this time. Future alliances are going to happen. The polarization is getting much more sharper, and in this, everybody is watching. We are all tensed, but yes, Bharat is on right side. We have to, we cannot, we have only I remember our Alok Lahadji, what he mentioned. He said at this time, the biggest conflict of the world is only one: democratic versus undemocratic. So democratic forces, that's the name, and everything comes. I'm not saying that democracy is the best system in the world right now, but so far so good it is. A lot of flaws might be there, a lot of situations might be there. So like it or not, this is the today's conflict, and anti-democratic forces are pro-democratic forces. That's where the world is living on. And Bharat and America is coming together. All other countries are coming together. So I look forward for this, Prime Minister Modi's speech, as well as the joint statement which both leaders will give it to us. Thank you.
Okay. So Vandana ji, how just you hopeful for the visit of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to USA? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, as I earlier mentioned also, the visit, if it just stays on paper, this is not fruitful. It has to go further. There has to be action, because MOUs, there are so many MOUs which just been stay signed. So if it is not been implemented, this is not, because on the administrative level, things do take place. But realistically, when it comes, so the person like Rakesh Tiwari, if he wants to do business in India, let's say outsource and all, if he goes on a ground, so he will not be able to have an access to the Prime Minister's office and stuff like that. He will just go what has been written on paper, that this is like, because, and when we talk about the Adobe CEO, Shantanu, because we need to encourage even the small businesses also. There are so many people, I'm just telling, there is one person, he just recently went, I know that he has an IT company right in Noida itself. So what was claimed, he took a time trip, for 15 days, so that they promised that his office will be ready. This is very recently, 2 days ago. This guy came back 2 days ago, I'm just saying. So this guy goes there, what all was promised, nothing has been done. So you can imagine somebody just taking time off from his main business in US to set up an office, which they have been having on rental, and things don't work out. So then he had to waste that kind of time, because it is a day and a night right here. So then he has to look further and search for another space. And then he said, I cannot, because they promised him that it will be ready, how the cubicle's been made and stuff like that. It will take another month and a half. So he's going to go again. So what I'm saying, so on the ground, the reality should be same what we see on paper. So then it will be very, very fruitful. There are so many people, somebody just put it a job, the people, those who come here, because they get these positions, let this be Google, let this be your Microsoft, let this be Adobe, all these CEOs, IBM and all, you see that they earn these positions. It is not reserved for them. So then the best guy gets where it is. So like, so that kind of thing has to be there. Like, we give chances to everybody equally. Like, if somebody is weak, so they should be financially getting help, but not sitting on my head. So like, I lose my morals also. So that has to be learned also. India has to learn that from the Western worlds, to be honest. Like, if India really wants to do a progress, because
That
otherwise,
is okay, but in India is learning, and nowadays, the last 7 years, if you see, analyze the situation, how the India has going to transform in a different way and very speedy way, Vandanaji, in every sectors. Just you see the COVID period, just COVID, the last 18 months, the 19 months, India had just more than, and, the forex. I can see you give the graphs last 5 months, but this is already increased. How the story, the forex have increased, and the capacity and all things. So many new things has been developed infrastructure wise, and make in India, and made in India, and whatever the 32 programs of Prime Minister Modi. So that is going to implementation rate is very high. In every scheme we can see full of innovation. One I'll tell you, you never heard the scheme, very very interesting, and you will just surprised to know it. Today I was revamped reforms, just to try to listen the scheme. Revamped reforms, linkage result based distribution sector. You never heard this sector will just see how the any programs and plant and any scheme going to be implemented with the new innovative way, with the minimum cost and high gain. This is a very good scheme. This type of so many innovative scheme has been launched. They are doing. So actually, how the in between on the vaccination, and the creation of the vaccine and the manufacturing of the vaccine, India is going ahead on the distribution also, as we know it.
you
So
missed
that's
my
okay.
point. You missed
Please.
my point.
Please.
The schemes, I'm just saying that India is doing
Yeah.
pretty good. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I am saying, like, there has to be, if India really wants to progress, if
Yeah.
India really wants to have, like,
Yeah.
so it should be the person who has earned, who deserves it, should be getting it, not on
Yeah.
the basis of, like, that's what I'm saying. Because
That's okay.
yeah,
That's okay.
that is what I meant. Yeah.
Actually, what is the business term and the bilateral, both conditions are implied on the both way. You are
Because
right.
if you see the private sector as well as the government sector, because private sector, they are saying they should have a reservations again in the private sector is saying no, because it should be the work that somebody has to deliver. You see that
May
how
I-
the
Yeah,
May I
please,
just-
please, Tiwari.
See, my a lot of things what Vandanaji has said it. I agree with that. The reason is this: we are, person like her, me, or other people, we are living outside of Bharat, and we are saying that, and we see that the mature democracies like Canada, when she's talked about it, USA, UK, a lot of places, the service sector, the attitude towards it, the training of it, the thinking of it is absolutely great in that way. When you go to the banks, when you go to the even I will say restaurants, the service you kind of get it. That when we go from here, I mean, although Bharat can claim, well, we have cut the red tape from Nurse PV Narasimha Rao's time, no, but it's still not cut off yet. You can see that. Means, let me say this. These are the facts, and sooner you realize it, better it is. Some of the things is horrendous, and it gives bad name. So a complete overhauling is required, and for that, let me say, although this is not the topic, this is not the subject, Bharat has to ask for a Samvidhan Sabha, a constitutional assembly, which should completely rehaul talk about those questions 75 years, 76 years back, when the Bharat got freedom under the circumstances. That time is past. In today's reality, are what can you do, what can be done to fix up ourselves. I'm not saying, and
Yeah,
neither
you're right.
Bhunaji is saying
So,
that
but
we
as well as the United Nations also have to reform. So many reforms are pending in India also, and this part of the world.
Bharat has to be strong. We are
but-
talking
but-
about United Nations.
yeah.
I say, in my understanding, United Nations have failed. Let me say completely.
No,
Now
that is different.
new strategic alliances are getting developed, and I'm
Actually,
very sure, because
if you say the whatever the Nehruvian model, what is the Gandhi model, now if you say the Modi model, whatever they have just tried to change many ways. That is should be appreciated, it should be appreciable, and is appreciated, has been appreciated in different parts of the world and the different corners. So whatever I think what else we are focusing the bilateral relation of two
bilateral
countries.
relationship is good. Okay, is definitely we are
So-
is as I,
and
I have
on
said from the
economic
beginning.
front and political front and trade and economics, counter-terrorism, internal security.
Yeah,
and,
Bharat has to see the
defense
democratic.
cooperation and civilian nuclear cooperation,
A
strategic
lot of things.
consultancy.
Let me say this.
The major
Let
exchanges,
me just
and
finally
you
say
have
it.
dialogue
Yeah.
attraction.
Let
So
me
just
just say finally. Let me just address this finally.
Yeah.
Let me
So
just say this
So just
finally.
now I'm summing up according
Yeah.
to your
So
statement.
just let me complete it.
Please.
My humble understanding and my one simple line is this: when the democracies, like US, Canada, Western democracies, and a democracy like Bharat comes together, the visits happen, coming here to there. A lot of things people learn from it, each other. In that way, definitely it happens. But the basics government system has to be changed in Bharat. Is a rotten from British era. Okay, it is rotten from British era. We have to freshen up ourselves. That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. So just I'll just sum up that India-US bilateral relation have developed into a global strategic partnership based on the shared democratic values and increasing convergence of interest on the bilateral, regional, and global issues. The emphasis placed by the government of India on the development and good governance has created opportunity to reinvigorate bilateral ties and enhance cooperation under the motto "Chale Saath Saath, Forward Together We Go." A Saja Prayas, Sabka Vikas, CRD Force, Progress for All, adopted during the first two summits of Prime Minister Modi and President Obama in 2014 and 15 respectively. And that is a carried forward. And that is into US relationship, entering global partners in 21st century. I think very nicely we have discussed all the issues, and later on, after this, tomorrow is the UNGA, he will address. So many issues are there, and so nice, Vandana ji and Rakesh Tiwari ji, you have just expressed your thoughts. I think I've not seen the news, just the views, and for the India and for US. So nice of you, and thank you very much. Just you participate in the show. We'll carry on this discussion till 25th. The India times, I think, 25th night will be the US time tomorrow after address the UNGA. That will be also a historical speech of our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi after meeting the all big wigs, the Quad and President and Vice President of US. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Namaste.
Namaste.